Okay, 1B, today we are going to begin chapter 9, which is on two-dimensional shapes. And sometimes you'll hear me call them flat shapes so that you don't get them confused with three-dimensional shapes, which are shapes that are not flat. And we're going to be talking about them in the next chapter. But right now we're going to be learning about two-dimensional shapes. Like I said, we also can call them flat shapes. And the Brain Pop Junior video that you watched yesterday actually calls them plane shapes. All right, guys. So before we begin this lesson, let me say this. Miss Jones never intended to be teaching on YouTube. So please be patient with me. I am doing the best that I can here. Under these circumstances, but I really want to be able to teach you. So this is the only way that I can do it right now. This lesson is going to call for you to use something that we call attribute blocks. Now, we sent a paper home with some blocks home before all of this started. It's in the packet marked math. Those are called pattern blocks. Okay, so they're different from attribute blocks. This is what attribute blocks look like, and I'm just doing this to show them to you. Okay, now in RenWeb, you will find your parents can find this document. I know it's blurry, but it's the best I could find in a pinch. So you can print these out, color them according to what they say. You know, this circle would be blue, this triangle would be blue, this rectangle would be yellow, and cut them out. And there you would have your own set of attribute blocks. If you don't have access to a printer or your parents aren't able to do that, you can use the pattern blocks. Now let me show you what pattern blocks look like. They're a little bit different. And they look like this. Okay, these are the ones that we sent home for you before you were no longer allowed to go to school to pick up work. You can color them according to these colors and cut them out to use for this lesson also. The only thing that's going to be something that you're going to have to think about when you do that is this square is perfect for this lesson. However, we're going to be talking about squares and rectangles. You'll notice here with pattern blocks, these right here, you don't have a rectangular shaped pattern block. It's not a big deal. Put two squares together like this, and you will have a rectangle. So if you don't have access to a printer, go ahead, cut the ones that are out in your packet and use them for this lesson. Anyway, that's what I wanted to let you know. Your two options are, if you forget what color you need to color the pattern blocks, the PowerPoint that this came out of has a picture of pattern blocks in it so that you can see the colors. Okay, so get your blocks ready. If you don't have your pattern blocks or you don't have attribute blocks, go ahead and pause me right now. Go get those ready and then come back to this lesson. Okay, and now that we have our pattern blocks or our attribute blocks, let's begin our lesson. So today we're going to be talking about squares and rectangles. Now guys, any plane shape that we talk about is going to have sides and vertices. The sides are the lines here that make up the sides. The vertices, or a vertex, when we have one, it's a vertex. When we have more than one, we call them vertices. That's where two lines meet and make a corner. So when I look at this square, I see that it has 1, 2, 3, 4 lines and 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. So 4 sides and 4 vertices. Now you're going to notice with the square, all of the sides are the same length. That's what makes a square a square. That's what makes it special. So now let's answer some questions about this shape. It says the shape shown has blank sides, but when we just counted them, we see it has 4 sides. The shape shown has blank vertices. We talked about it has 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Describe how the side lengths compare. Well, when we look at this, we see that all of the sides are the same length, and that means that the shape shown is a square. Now, let's look at this shape to identify it. We're going to answer some questions to help us figure out what this shape is. This shape has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. This shape has 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. And it says describe how the side lengths compare. Well, look, when we look at the ones that are opposite each other or across from one another, they're the same length here. And these that are opposite each other or across from one another are the same length. These are longer than these. This shape is a rectangle. My mouse is getting stuck here. This shape is a rectangle. Let me see if I can get something. Okay, I found something to use as a mouse pad. Okay, so let's look at this. It says a parking lot has 4 sides. It also has 4 vertices. It has 2 long sides and it has 2 short sides. Draw a shape to represent the parking lot, and that would be this shape. And the parking lot has the shape of a rectangle. Now, when I read those first 2 sentences that said the parking lot has 4 sides and it also has 4 vertices, it could be a square. There are other shapes that have 4 sides and 4 vertices. But when I got to this part that says it has 2 long sides and it has 2 short sides, that's what helped me to figure out the parking lot is shaped like a rectangle. Okay, guys, so now you're going to use your attribute blocks or your pattern blocks to make a picture out of squares or rectangles. So go ahead, you can see I kind of started playing a little bit with it. Go ahead and find your page like this, and you make whatever kind of picture you want to make. With your squares and your rectangles. Once you do that, you're going to write in the blanks here how many squares you used and how many rectangles you used. So right here, I used 1 square, and I used 2 rectangles. And you will remember from when we were at school that Miss Jones isn't the best with writing with a mouse. But anyway, write what you had in your picture. And then you can go ahead, flip that paper over. All right, guys, so this is the page that you are looking at. Okay, you're gonna be looking at the top right here, and I'm gonna make it bigger on my computer right here. So we're talking about 2-dimensional shapes, which are flat shapes. They can be open or they can be closed. So look, in an open shape, we have right here, this is not connected. So look, the little piggy, if it were a pen, he could go right in. It's an open shape. right here, all of our sides are connected, so we have a closed shape. If he tried to get in there, he could not because it is a closed shape. So our two-dimensional shapes can be open or they can be closed. Now, look at the next part of your page. So squares and rectangles are two-dimensional shapes. They are closed. So a square is a closed shape. A rectangle is a closed shape. They have straight lines and vertices. So just like we said earlier, a square has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides and 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. The same goes for rectangles. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides and 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. So now we're going to look at these problems number 1 and 2. Look, they are right here on your page. We're going to talk about how many sides and how many vertices these shapes have. So right here, this shape has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. So go ahead, write that there. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. So tell me, ooh, you know I'm not good at this. Tell me the name of this shape. Yes, it is a rectangle. Now let's look at this shape. We want to write how many sides and how many vertices it has. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. So what's the name of that shape, guys? Yes, it is a square. And we see that on this rectangle, we have 2 long sides and 2 short sides. That's what makes it different from a square where all 4 sides are the same. So we just talked about that. How are a rectangle and a square alike? Well, we could say they each have 4 sides. We can say they each have 4 vertices. That makes a rectangle and a square alike. So now you're going to complete this page and flip it over and complete this page. When you're done, get your parents to look over your work and talk about any difficulties you have. Guys, I hope this was helpful to you. I'll be back in a few days with another lesson. Tomorrow, you are going to be completing an IXL on open and closed shapes, and that will be for a homework completion grade. I hope you have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.